Hey everyone, good to see you today. Hi,
Hey,
Good to see you, Liuba.
how
Sarah.
are you doing?
Oh, okay, given everything.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah?
I'm doing okay. It's really tough, with everything going on and the pressure
Ugly
to
kitty
publish.
got ugly caught. Oh
And
no! How
my
did that
nephew's
happen?
visiting, so a
Oh.
lot of things going on. Uh,
Uh-oh.
I know it's really hard.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What do you want?
One thing I try to do is just kind of put everything out of my mind and kind of focus on my work. Sometimes, there's a lot going on and your emotions can be up and down, but if you just focus on your work and, kind of put your emotions aside, I think it really helps.
yeah. You're right. That's great advice. Thanks.
Yeah, Sarah, I agree with Michelle. I mean, there are high emotional demands here at work and with the research and papers, but also at home, there are so many constraints right now. And then the overall kind of environment of anxiety and uncertainty because of pandemic. So, but you know what? I think on the other hand, this is why we're here today. And we actually are very excited to present our paper that's called The Impact of COVID-19 Context on Employee Discretionary Work Behaviors Through Increased Emotional Job Demands and Leader Emotion Management. And it's my pleasure to present my co-authors today, Michelle Williams, Sarah Tuskey, and also we have William Becker, who's working with us on this paper.
So as Luba just mentioned, right now during the pandemic, I think everyone's experiencing high job demands. In almost every organization, IT departments were quickly tasked with moving a whole workforce to home using Zoom and other types of technology to get their work done. Teachers, university professors had to move their entire courses online within 1 to 2 weeks. The demands on customer service representatives and people in other organizations were also very high because they were dealing with customers who were under pressure themselves dealing with the pandemic. There are story after story in the news of workers having to deal with high job demands. And leaders played a really big role in helping employees with these high demands. Interpersonal emotion management is one way managers help employees deal with their emotions. There are two primary ways that are researched in the literature. One is reframing, which is helping the employees think about their situation differently to have more positive outcomes and less negative emotions. And the other is suppression, for employees just to not express their negative feelings, put a smile on, and ignore what they're actually feeling. Work on interpersonal emotion management by myself, by Laura Little, by Karen Niven, and others has shown that reframing tends to have a positive effect on employee engaging in citizenship behaviors and their relationship with their managers, in not engaging in counterproductive work behaviors like withdrawal and goofing off. On the other hand, suppression is actually found to increase those negative behaviors and decrease the positive behaviors. And this is consistent in the research. But we think that the pandemic is going to put a new light on some of these, on job demands and on work behaviors. What we know from the organizational literature is we've looked at crises, but these are crises that are confined to an organization, such as Uber or others that have been in the news lately. And what that research finds is that under crisis, an organizational crisis, employees tend to get exhausted from all the job demands. They decrease their helping and organizational citizenship behaviors, and they increase their counterproductive behaviors just out of emotional exhaustion. But we want to bring a new set of literature to bear on this. And that's the literature and sociology around disasters. When people are in natural disasters, they come together. They realize that everyone's in it together. You'll see communities putting sandbags down. You see during the pandemic, people getting together and making masks for healthcare workers. The meaning, we believe in this context, the meaning that people place on job demands and the meaning that they place on leader behavior is going to shift. So in this context of a disaster that's worldwide and global, infecting all organizations and all individuals, we believe that that shared identity is going to mean that job demands are seen as something that helps others, that actually dealing with those demands helps their organization. Their work has even more meaning, and it's going to lead to positive effects on organizational citizenship and behavior and decrease any counterproductive behaviors. We also predict that there's going to be effect on leader emotion management behaviors. Appraisal, we expect to continue to have a positive effect on OCBs and a negative effect on counterproductive behaviors. But leader suppression, we think is going to be interpreted through a different light, through a more positive perspective, where people are going to see leader suppression as something that leaders are doing to try to help them. And this may be even more so when there's high trust in the leader.
To test our propositions, we recruited a sample of full-time working adults from a mid-sized private university in the northeast of the United States. And the data for this study was collected over a 2-month period when the pandemic was at its peak in that region of the United States. We had 3 waves of data collection that each was spread 3 to 4 weeks apart. The final sample consisted of 134 employees. And the results of our structural equation modeling demonstrated that indeed, increase in emotional job demands during the pandemic led to an increase in employee organizational citizenship behaviors and reduced counterproductive work behaviors. We also saw that both leader reappraisal and suppression interpersonal emotional management behaviors led to increase in employee organizational citizenship behaviors. On the other hand, trust relationships that leaders developed with their employees before the crisis helped to curb counterproductive work behaviors of employees. And the dotted line on this model reflect this moderation effect. We also controlled for gender and employee emotional exhaustion in our model, and we performed robustness tests to confirm the consistency of our findings across time and model specifications. So what does this context of COVID-19 teaches us? Well, overall, we think our findings suggest that the meaning employees assign to their work and the behaviors of their leaders during this uncertain time can really make a difference for the company's capacity to deal effectively with this changing environment.
With regards to job demands, employee perceptions of job demands, the study has challenged the assumption that high job demands during a crisis are detrimental to employee positive extra role behaviors. Specifically, these findings offer a more nuanced view of the environmental impact on discretionary behaviors at work and invite future researchers to account for and distinguish between the type of crises, whether it be a localized organizational crisis versus a major disaster, when studying its effects on employee behaviors. We also think that this work makes an important contribution to the interpersonal emotion management literature, especially given that we see that a leader's emotional reprisal is not only an effective tactic for managing employee behaviors, but that also emotional suppression can also be an effective tool for helping employees cope with extreme crises in ways that promote discretionary work behaviors.
And this is a particularly exciting finding because it's one of the first studies to show a positive effect of interpersonal emotional suppression. It's also exciting because adds another meaning, another mechanism that job crafting or the meaning of work can influence employee outcomes.
Another important finding or aspect of our results is that we see that employee extra role behaviors during a crisis align with the sociology literature of human behavior during natural disaster or major disaster.
Well, Sarah, Michelle, thank you so much for joining me today to present our work. Truly during this time, it's been a silver lining working with you and Bill on this project. Thank you very much, and stay safe and well.
Thank you all. Great working with you.